Welcome to the Deep Dives. Our mission, as always, is to take a stack of sources, pull out the most important insights, and really give you what you need to be well-informed.
Yep.
And today, we are strapping in for a look at elite professional development in, well, the pressure cooker that is the NBA.
That's right. And we're really looking at something I think is universal, the raw, chaotic power of emotion in these high-stakes jobs.
Exactly. We're zeroing in on a Boston Celtics rookie, Hugo Gonzalez.
And our source material for this is a great article detailing his, let's call it a volatile journey, the highs, the lows, and the struggle that every single hyper-competitive athlete faces.
It's not about training muscles, is it? It's about training the mind.
It's all about how this 19-year-old talent is learning not to, suppress his energy, which is phenomenal, but how to harness it, how to point it in the right direction.
Okay, so let's unpack this because it applies to so much more than just basketball. You have an environment where passion is the price of admission, but a lack of control can kill your career.
For sure.
So here's the question for you, the listener, that we're trying to answer today. How does an athlete, one whose engine is always running at 100%, take that intense emotion?
Which can be so destructive.
Right. It can come out as frustration, technical fouls, bad mistakes. And how do you turn it into a defining asset, like lockdown defense, game-winning energy?
That ability to make that switch from raw instinct to disciplined action, that's what separates, potential from actual performance. It's the whole ball game for a top prospect.
And the evidence in our source material is just laid out so perfectly. It's these two contrasting moments, these snapshots of Gonzalez's emotional roller coaster.
And they were just 4 nights apart.
Just 4 nights. It perfectly shows the razor's edge he walks every single time he steps on that court.
And we should probably start with the low point, because that's where you really see the internal pressure he's under.
Yeah, let's do that. So the low point came during a Monday night loss to the Detroit Pistons. Gonzalez checks into the game late in the third. The Celtics need a spark.
Right, the pressure is on.
And instead of providing that energy, they go sideways immediately. He gets scored on, a defensive lapse, and then he turns the ball over on the very next possession.
A nightmare sequence for a rookie.
And his reaction. The source notes that he literally punched the Celtics bench in just sheer visible frustration.
Wow. And that kind of outburst is just so costly. I mean, not just the risk of injury, but it's a signal. It tells everyone you're defeated, you're dwelling on the last play, not focused on the next one.
It's a public moment of giving in to that pressure.
Exactly.
But here's what's really interesting, and what the source points to is a key part of the Celtics culture. The intervention was immediate.
Yeah, from his teammate.
From his teammate, Derek White, a veteran, one of their most respected guys. He ran right over to calm him down. Not the coach, a teammate.
That right there, that speaks volumes. It shows the team dynamic is about resilience, about mental support, not just, points on the board.
It's a culture thing. A teammate steps in to pull you back before you completely burn out.
Right. Interrupting that self-destructive spiral.
So now let's fast forward. Just 4 nights. A huge game. A 129-116 win over the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
And Gonzalez was just as emotional. I mean, the energy level was the same, but this time the source says it was overwhelmingly positive.
Directed outwards.
Yes. He's yelling a joyful cheer heading to the bench after a big play. And then, after Derek White, the same guy who calmed him down, sinks the 3, Gonzalez is on his feet, clenching his fist, screaming in celebration for his teammate.
And that's the whole story right there. The energy is constant. He's always at full tilt. But the direction of that emotion, that's the variable he's learning to control.
To go from punching a bench in anger to celebrating a teammate's success like that in less than a week.
That's a massive win for the coaching staff. It's tangible proof that they're redirecting what could be a liability into a huge team asset.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because that positive energy, it translated directly into on-court success against Miami.
Yeah, his stats were great.
Career high, 29 minutes, 8 rebounds, 10 points on really efficient shooting. It was probably the best all-around game of his NBA career so far.
And from an analyst's perspective, it's the details of that performance that are so impressive. It wasn't just offense. He was executing tough defensive assignments.
He was guarding guys like Bam Adebayo and Kello Ware. That is a huge responsibility for a rookie.
A massive physical test. And he was aggressive. 2 steals and a block. And the source highlights one moment in particular.
The steal that led to the 3-pointer.
Right. One of his steals leads directly to a Sam Hauser 3, and you see Gonzalez just celebrating wildly as he runs back down the court.
That's the perfect picture of it, isn't it? Redirected emotion. That frenetic energy becomes tactical pressure,
Mm.
which then fuels the whole team's success.
And that energy is contagious. It's exactly what his coach, Joe Mazzulla, wants from him.
Yeah, the coach saw it clearly. Ozil was quoted saying his play was tremendous on both ends of the floor. And he said that level of energy and execution, that's who he has to be for us.
I mean, that is extremely high praise. It's framing that emotion not as some weakness to get rid of, but as a core strength that just needs to be channeled correctly.
It's part of his identity as a player. But the source also notes that Gonzalez himself is the first person to point out this internal struggle.
Yeah.
His self-awareness is key.
Yeah, he knows this is his hallmark. He says, I feel like I've always been a little bit too much emotional. He gets that this intensity drives his energy for good and for bad.
He even says, and obviously there's the bad part also, that I try to control as much as I can, like the other day, referring back to that Pistons game.
But let's look at the cost of that intensity. I mean, even in that great game against Miami, he still picked up 4 fouls.
Yeah, he's often in foul trouble.
Right. And he blames it on, and I'm quoting here, too much energy, too much excitingness, which brings up a really critical question for the organization.
Where's that line?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where is the line between that necessary competitive drive, the aggression you need to guard an all-star, and the harmful, overexcitement that leads to silly fouls?
Because you don't want to coach the fire out of him. You lose the player. So the goal isn't elimination, it's optimization.
It has to be. It's tactical restraint. And that only comes with experience and, crucially, mentorship. You just can't learn to run at 100% effort with 100% mental discipline all on your own.
And that is the perfect transition to our next section. The support system. The team culture that's helping him channel this.
The emotional scaffolding, yeah.
The Celtics organization, they clearly get it. Gonzalez says they do a great job of knowing that I'm hard on myself.
And the source really focuses on Derek White's mentorship here, and for good reason. White is a self-proclaimed emotional player himself.
Oh, he can relate.
He can completely relate to that choice for perfection.
Yeah.
So when he gives advice, it lands differently. He said, you want to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes, but you kind of beat yourself up for it a little too long.
And that's the insight, isn't it? It's not about being perfect. It's about how fast you recover from being imperfect.
Yeah.
It's the time you spend dwelling on the mistake, on punching a bench, when you should be focused on the next play.
Exactly right. And the strategy they use is basically a cognitive interruption technique. The message, over and over, is focus on the next play.
It's the mental reset button.
It's the reset button. White says they make sure he doesn't hang his head on that one play. It interrupts that cycle of self-criticism. So it's not just hand-holding, it's integrated performance training.
And the source makes it clear the support is coming from everywhere. It's White, it's another teammate, Nimi Esqueda, it's Coach Mazzulla, it's other staff.
The whole team is invested. And that shows the environment is, psychologically safe enough for a 19-year-old to make these mistakes and admit he struggles with it.
Which is so often the hidden engine of a successful team.
Right.
That human element, that investment in a player's psychological resilience.
And Gonzalez summed it up perfectly. He said, we got a great, super good group as human beings. Everybody tries to have the back of each other. And that's what makes us succeed.
That link between team chemistry and individual development is just vital.
Yeah. To synthesize all this, his journey is really a microcosm of high-level development anywhere. It's not about becoming a robot. That would strip him of his biggest weapon.
Right.
It's about mastering execution while running hot. And the fact that he says he needs to relax and be better at reading the game, that shows he's moving toward that tactical maturity.
So we come back to that core tension we started with. The very thing that gives him his incredible energy, his emotion, is also the source of his mistakes. The fouls, the frustration.
But that success against Miami, it really suggests he's starting to figure out how to harness his, as the article puts it, his love for the game for good.
And that's the real takeaway for you, the listener. Whether you're on a court or in an office, high performance isn't just about skill. It's the learned ability to recover from failure, from the bench punch, and immediately redirect that passion toward the next objective.
It's the marriage of discipline and drive, and it happens through that instant mental reset.
Think about that. High-energy people require an even higher level of mental discipline. You have to learn faster, but you also have to forget your mistakes faster. That's real resilience.
Precisely. The pressure is on him now to internalize those resets so he doesn't need a teammate to do it for him every time.
Incredibly valuable lesson. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into emotional management in elite sports.
Yes.
We hope you feel thoroughly informed.
And this leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. If Hugo Gonzalez manages to fully harness this frenetic energy while adding just enough restraint to avoid those silly fouls, what does his ceiling even look like?
Yeah.
And maybe more broadly, how common is this specific challenge, this process of taming the very fire that makes you great across all elite sports and other high-pressure professions?
Something to mull over. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.